you. We welcome all of you EIRC ICAI Golden Charcha, which initiative by our chairman Vishnu Kumar Tulsianji. It is a good initiative, uh, enough to improve the speaker, new speaker, and I request to see Sanjay Jain for special address for today's program. उससे पहले मैं अपने चेयरमैन विष्णु कुमार तुलसियान जी को आज के प्रोग्राम और आज के लिए कुछ बोलने के लिए बोलूंगा. ओवर टू विष्णु तुलसियान.
Thank you, Chimpulal for giving me the opportunity to interact with my participants virtually. The initiative what Chimpuji tell is very right that I want to promote the young chartered accountant across the Eastern India who want to speak, who has the skills but they hesitate to speak. In this thread, we also have our learner speakers, new speakers, new entrants, so everyone can be given the opportunity. And we want to make our region very strong in terms of academic deliberation. So then the time to come, they become a good speaker and they can be basically exported to the entire country and the entire world. This is the thought process behind this. And yes, topic is very important. We recognize the presence of Mr. Jain Saab and Mr. Navin for this event and for his consent, for their consent. Of course, we are having very Golden Jubilee conference just nearby, so we all are engaged there. And I request all of you, please come and be the part of this Golden Jubilee conference, which is happening on 21 and 22nd of November. And it is mega event. And Mr. Adani Group has confirmed to join our event. And apart from the many people are in the process, more or less Ramdev Baba Patanjali has also more or less confirmed, and many are in the line. So please do not miss and popularize this event to your fraternity. And a lot of things is going to Manoj Mansir has been confirmed more or less. So many things are developing every time basis. So be the part with his institute and be the proud member of the institute. Thank you so much. Without wasting time, I hand over the proceedings to Chimpuji once again.
Thank you, Vishnu Kumar Tulsian ji, our chairman, energetic chairman, who doing well for the current and also forthcoming program is our Eastern India Regional Council is organizing annual conference on 21st and 22nd November. And request to everyone to join on that program. I also request to see Sanjay Jain ji for special address of the today's gathering. Over to Sanjay Jain ji.
थैंक यू चिंपू जी. आज का जो अपना टॉपिक है टीडीएस, इनकम टैक्स के अंदर में टीडीएस आज की डेट में ईच एंड एवरी ट्रांजेक्शन पे लगना स्टार्ट हो गया है. ऐसे शायद फ्यू ट्रांजेक्शन ही बचे हैं आज की डेट में. मेरे ख्याल से कुछ भी होंगे कि डाउटफुल है जिस पर टीडीएस एप्लीकेबल नहीं है. और टीडीएस का कंप्लायंस इतना स्ट्रिंजेंट होता जा रहा है कि गवर्नमेंट इसको एज ए टूल यूज कर रही है सारे फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजेक्शन को ट्रैकिंग करने के लिए. और टाइमली कंप्लायंसेज हो वो बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. मैं नवीन जी को बोलूँगा, नवीन जी आपको बताएंगे किस तरह से टीडीएस रिटर्न फाइल करना है, स्पेशली उससे करेक्शंस के लिए क्या मेजर्स रखने हैं, और टाइम टू टाइम जब रिटर्न फाइल हो तो आपको क्या क्रॉस चेक बैलेंसेस रखने हैं सो दैट आपको एरर फ्री रिटर्न फाइल कर सकें. मार्केट में कई टूल्स वगैरह अवेलेबल हैं, स्टिल अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर भी काफ़ी कुछ सपोर्ट करते हैं सब चीज़ों के लिए. जो भी जिस तरह से अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर यूज़ कर रहे हो उसको यूज़ करते हुए आप कैसे अपना एरर फ्री रिटर्न फाइल कर सकते हैं. आज की डेट में सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है टीडीएस को लेकर, ट्रांजेक्शन्स वॉल्यूमस होते जा रहे हैं. आप उसको कैसे कंट्रोल करोगे, रिकॉन्साइल करोगे, सिस्टम ड्रिवन सारा काम हो गया है, लेकिन स्टिल देयर इज एरर्स. और एरर की भी कुछ लिमिटेशंस हैं. आप कब तक मॉडिफिकेशन फाइल कर सकते हैं, नॉन कंप्लाइंट होने पर काफ़ी हैवी पेनल्टी है, इंटरेस्ट का प्रोविजन भी है. वो सारी चीज़ें नवीन जी आपको डिस्कस करेंगे. ओवर, दैट्स ऑल. थैंक यू चिंपू जी.
थैंक यू संजय जैन जी. संजय जी ने सही कहा कि जो कंप्लायंसेस बढ़ते जा रही है उसके लिए अपने को टीडीएस का डीप नॉलेज लेना पड़ेगा, जो आज हमको संजय नवीन खेमका जी के द्वारा मिलेगा. तो टुडेज टॉपिक इज इनकम टैक्स टीडीएस नेसेसरी करेक्शन इन द टीडीएस रिटर्न थ्रू ट्रेस पोर्टल. और आज के हमारे स्पीकर है नवीन खेमका जी, वो कोलकाता से हैं. CA Navin Khemka is a fellow member of ICAI, qualified in the year 2011, completed BCom honors from the Calcutta University in the year of 2005, has done Master in Business Administration in the field of finance from the ICAI University, Dehradun, India in the year of 2013. Currently practicing as a partner in MS Khemka and associate at Kolkata Sector 5. His area of expertise is direct taxation and GST. He has been to the post of convener of the View Exchange Chartered Accountant Studies EIRC and president of View Exchange Association for the financial year 2021 and 21-22. He is also a member of the MSME Development Forum West Bengal chapter. He has been speaking on income tax at the various branches of ICAI Study Circle and other professional forums since 2021. And I request to Navin Khemka ji to start our today's session. And over to Navin Khemka ji.
Thank you, Chimpu ji. First of all, a very good evening to our chairman EIRC Vishnu Kumar Tulsian ji. Special address given by Sanjay Jain ji, and lovely introduction given by Chimpulal ji and coordinator for this session for today's evening. We have less attendance, but again, it's an important session as I would say, and I would love to share my experience with respect to TDS filings. And as rightly said, Golden Charcha. So it helps in sharing ideas and motivating young speakers to come forward and showcase their talent, or I would say remove their hindrances in speaking publicly. So a very great initiative by our chairman, and we all are supporting him so that more members comes in forward to have a speaking towards getting a platform with respect to EIRC. Coming to today's topic, TDS. So, friends, as you would know that we have been filing TDS returns not from today, but from quite a long time. To my knowledge, when I have started my practice in the year 2009-10, from that days onwards, TDS is becoming more and more tax collection mechanism for government, I would say, because in foreign countries, TDS is quite large. If anybody is filing foreign entities returns, they will find that if a person is earning 100 rupees, almost 80 rupees gets deducted from their account with respect to federal tax, with respect to other taxes, with respect to medical and everything. And all filings are being done in the US. And once you file your ITR return, then only you get your refund. So in the same pattern, Department of India, Income Tax Department is also strengthening the TDS sections, and it is a mechanism of collecting tax at source only. And if any person has any refund, they can file their income tax return and get the refund accordingly. But this is also what I would area where people are doing malpractices, and system is trying to identify, locate and plug on all those loopholes. So initially what happened that what I remember that we used to issue the TDS certificates in physical form. Now these physical TDS certificates were supposed to be attached with our ITRs, and those were verified by the income tax officers, and the credit was given. So if any certificate was not tagged or not attached to, uh, by going to the departmental ends, by showing them their books of accounts, or by giving some letter confirmation of accounts, this credit was being provided to the SSCs. So this was continuing, I think, for last 4 years, 4 years or 3 years also, because correction, there was no limit for making any correction. For financial year 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10 also, people were trying to file the rectification, going to the department with the physical TDS certificates and claiming the refunds, or I would say false TDS claims. There has been a news also recently where we have found that a huge amount of bogus TDS refunds has been claimed in some states. So how this mechanism is being done? What happens is, if there is no system of checking whether the SSC has claimed a TDS amount or not, and rectification is being done by the deductor. So if he has given a claim to a person X, and that person X has claimed the TDS through paper form, but there is no systematic control over it. So what happens if a deductor rectifies the PAN and gives the credit allocation to somebody else? Department has no clue as to whether the TDS which has been already being taken by Mr. X has been utilized or not. There are scenarios where TDS, there are genuine mistakes where Mr. X has not claimed the TDS. So rectification is required because that generally belongs to somebody else, and the deduction has been the deductor has made the correction. But in major cases, there is a loophole where department does not have the accessibility, and by making a correction statement, getting this TDS credit given to somebody else, more refunds are being claimed in more files, wherein department does not have any clue as to how to track these things. Now, currently, I also had a session attended where we found that there were questions as to why the department is allowing such tedious corrections being filed at a later date where they don't have any control. So, based on those recommendations, the department has already stopped the rectification for past years. Most probably for 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, and 10, 11, you won't be able to file any rectification as on date. And with the new act coming in, you will be restricted to file any rectification post financial year 18-19. What happens is whenever there is a demand or there is any interest liability when we file the TDS returns, we get a notice from the department, we deposit a challan, and we assume that the rectification has been done or the demand which is outstanding in TDS has been nullified. But that's not the case. In income tax, if we use the DIN number and we prepare the challan and submit the challan, it gets automatically set off. But in TDS, there is no such mechanism as of now where you're paying any demand against any challan that gets adjusted. So you have to file a rectification return by adding that challan to your statement, a particular statement for which you have deposited the challan, and then file a rectified return. Then only this challan gets adjusted and your demand gets nullified. I would request अगर during my deliberation अगर किसी को भी कोई question हो, anybody wants to have any doubts, they can ask or raise hand so that we can be in a discussion mode and we can solve the issues in a more particular manner. I'll just share my screen. I prepared a small PPT so that it helps in understanding the concepts. I hope my screen is visible and the presentation is also visible. Chimpuji, if you can please confirm. You are muted, Chimpuji.
Yes, it is okay. Seen very
Yeah.
goodly.
So the new act gives us a time limit of 2 years to furnish our rectification return or update our information which we have furnished. So if we find there is any discrepancy in our returns which we have filed, we may correct it or we may update the information, but the time limit is only 2 years from the tax year, from the end of the tax year. So as per the circular given by the TDS department, we won't be able to file any rectification return post assessment financially 18-19. For 18-19 quarter 4 we are eligible. For 19-20 to 22-23 we are eligible for filing a rectification return for all the 4 quarters, and for 23-24 for first 1, 2 and 3 quarters will be eligible till 31st March 2026, post which the rectification returns won't be accepted by the department. Now, while moving through your returns which you have filed, you will find that when you're making any correction in the PAN, suppose you have entered a PAN of one person and you need to rectify that PAN. Now, there is a mechanism introduced by the Traces portal wherein if that amount has been claimed by that PAN in any particular assessment year or financial year, you won't be able to change the PAN of that person. the system will prohibit you and will say that this amount is already being claimed. So for making such corrections, you will again have to raise, I would say, a rectification request through your compliance portal on the income tax, wherein you have to mention that this amount which you have given to a particular person does not belong to him, but belongs to somebody else. Now, once you file that, an automatic email will be forwarded to the concerned PAN, wherein he will be asked the same question, whether this amount which has been given or credited to your PAN relates to you or not. So based on that two factor communication between the deductor and the deductee, wherein the department is in between, is trying to collect the data, and if the confirmation is being received from the deductee that they have mistakenly claimed it and they'll be refunding the amount, then only you will be able to rectify that PAN in your TDS returns. So there is a mechanism now wherein if the amount is being claimed by the individual SSC, you won't be able to file the rectification and give credit to somebody else. So in genuine cases, we find and we also advise our clients that if you find any extra credit in your 26 AS statement for which you haven't received your TDS certificates, you should not claim that amount. If it relates to you, then only you claim it. If it does not relate to you, does not claim it. There is also a mechanism where you can carry forward your TDS amount, which is being deducted in a particular financial year, to the next financial year in which the income is being offered. So there also, when you file your ITR, you tag the TAN number and you say that, let's suppose 10,000 rupees has been deducted as TDS, and out of which you are only claiming 2,000 rupees. So 8,000 rupees will be kept reserved against that financial year, against that TAN number, for you to claim in future years. So these are all mapped as of now. The systems are being upgraded on a daily, on a frequent basis to close all this mismatch part and the false claims of TDS. Whenever we are filing TDS returns, we will find that in each of the quarters, you will find that the FVU is being updated. So that reason of FVU being updated is the backend checkpoints, backend calculations, which the traces portals and the TDS departments are continuously doing, so that this false claims can be nullified. Now coming to the corrections, we still find that whenever a correction is required, we chartered accountants try to download the last filed version from the portal as FVU files and open it in our proprietary softwares or in the departmental utilities, and we correct it and we again submit it. But there is a very good option where you can do the corrections online. So on the traces portal, if you create your account and also attach your digital signature, there are, let's suppose if there are 50 corrections which you can do on a traces portal, 45 corrections will be done when you have your DSC attached, and 5 corrections are there where you can do without your DSC attached. So it's requested to, whenever if you are having heavy filings of any company or any individual, you get their digital signatures prepared and attach the digital signature in the traces portal and then move for the corrections. There are some basic utilities which needs to be installed, that is being provided in the website also. The the e-sign utilities will be there, which is Java based, which requires to read your digital signatures. And once you go to your dashboard, you will find the unconsumed challan portion, and you will also find the total demand which is being raised by the income tax department across various financial years, across various quarters. Once you move for a correction, you can opt for correction online. You can put down the exact financial year and the quarter for which you want to make the correction. The permissible corrections which you can do are the PAN name and address of the deductees, the income classification codes, that is from 194Q to 194C or 194R, or any other sections. because you will find that while filing your TDS returns, you were supposed to choose section 194 Q for purchase deductions, but instead of that you have choose 194C. So instead of your TDS rate being 0.1%, you have choose section 194C, so it comes down to either 1% or 2%, depending upon the status of the SSC. And the short deduction demand is being raised by the department. So everything over here is 99% or 90%, I would say, it's system based, where the manual interference of the officers are very limited. Everything goes through the online mechanism. So once you go and correct that section, the income classification code from 194C to 194Q, your demands gets automatically nullified. So for that, what you need to do, you need to uh, go for a correction of modification of deductee. So once you choose to enter into any particular correction statement, it will give you first the default list. There is also an option to download the details of the demand which is being raised. For example, you find a lot of interest is being charged on transactions which you have uploaded. Now, sometimes it happens that as per our calculation, the interest is less, and as per department calculation, the interest is more. And there are also certain cases where there is no interest liability as of now, but the interest liability is being shown when the demand is being raised. So you are not sure as to why the demand has arisen. So you need to download the justification report. Justification report will be downloaded. You have to apply for that in the TRISIS portal. It gets converted into Excel sheet, and each sheet will give you the details, whether it's a late filing claim, it's a short deduction interest or short deduction amount, and what's the reason behind short deduction, whether it is because of invalid PAN or non-linking of PAN and Aadhaar, or the PAN number which you have mentioned is wrong, because in case the PAN is wrong, it will be considered that the SSE or the deductee does not have any valid PAN. So the rate of TDS deduction goes from the normal rate to 20%, as if the deductee does not have any PAN attached to it. So you can make a PAN correction. You can do or modify the challan also. In case of payments made by you at a later date, you have to add those challans. But kindly note that the challans can be added only after 2 days of filing, once it gets available on your portal. So if you have deposited any challan as on today, you are depositing it through income tax portal as of now, and this information gets transferred to your traces portal, which takes minimum 2 days time frame. So always have a gap of 2 days when once you have made a new payment challan and you want to rectify any of your returns. We find people making the challan payment and then immediately searching in traces portal. So you won't be finding the challan immediately. You'll find it after a gap of 1 or 2 days. Also, note that if you're making any challan payment for any correction statement, you should choose the proper assessment tier for the same. In online traces portal, there is a functionality where you can adjust your old challan also, but it cannot go beyond 1 year of the financial year in which you are filing. Suppose you are making a correction for financial year 24-25. So all the challans which you have deposited, which have the unconsumed challan balance for financial year 23-24 and for financial year 25-26, both can be tagged for financial year 24-25 along with financial year 24-25. So for any particular given year, you can go 1 year back. You can use for that year, and you can also use 1 year ahead of that year. So it might be possible that by mistake you have deposited something extra in current financial year 25-26, and you want to adjust that amount with your outstanding demand for any particular reason for financial year 24-25. That can be done. If you have any unconsumed challan for FY 23-24, and that also you want to use for 24-25, that can also be done. But if you have any challan for 22-23, that cannot be adjusted with 24-25 demand. that needs to be adjusted either with the same year or 1 year ahead or 1 year back. So that's important to note, that whenever you are making any challan payment for any demand, try to use your unconsumed challans in the portal. What we follow is, for any SSC, always go to your dashboard and uh, look forward for unconsumed challans and try to filter out all the informations. Now over there, you won't be getting the complete details altogether. It might be possible that there are maybe 50 challans over there which are unconsumed. So it will be containing the challans which has not been adjusted in the current year also. Suppose today we are in the month of October, we have already filed or made the payments for the month of August and September. So this 2 years challans will also be auto-populated in the unconsumed part, because you haven't filed your second quarter TDS returns yet. So all these challans are basically unconsumed and will be showing in an unconsumed challans portal, status portal. So filter out all the challans. Uh, if you have the database access of your accounting, you can find out the total challan amount from there. You have to put the total challan amount in the portal, and from there the portal will be giving you the amount of unconsumed part. You can make an Excel sheet of it and try to identify why this unconsumed part is there. We also find that a person has deducted TDS for, let's suppose, 50 clients. While filing the TDS returns, he has added only 48 clients. 2 of the SSCs he has missed while filing his return of income. And that gets unnoticed because he hasn't checked the 27A, wherein the cross tally mechanism, we try to find out the amount deducted and the amount paid. If there is any difference, it should be only because of the interest part. And if there is any more difference other than the interest part, then definitely you have missed some deductives to be added in your return. So as Sanjay ji was saying, that we also need to identify or cross verify some of the informations before we upload our returns, so that there is error-free return which is being processed by the department. So number one is, whenever you are generating your TXT file and validating it with the FEU, you will find a lot of 3-4 files being generated. People generally, what I find, don't go through all those files which are being generated. They only capture the FVU file and upload it. But it's a good practice always to go through all the files. Always check the 27A which is being generated. It contains the information of total deductees which is there in your return, the total amount deducted and paid, the total challan amount, and the total deduction amount. If you are having no interest payment in your return, then the challan amount and the deduction amount should always match. So if there is any gap, you can always identify that either you have missed adding some deductee, or if the amount is more, deduction is more than the challan amount, that means you have overbooked your challan by some deductees. For example, if you have a challan of 100 rupees and there are 2 deductees, but you have added 3 deductees with a total amount of 150 rupees. So that challan will get overbooked by 50 rupees. So once the return gets filed, again you will have a error stating that the challan is overbooked and some of the deductees won't be getting the TDS credit. Second is, if you use the proprietary softwares, you will find there is an option of checking the PAN number, check PAN number. By checking PAN number, currently it gives you 2 validations. One, whether the PAN is correct or not, whether the structural form of PAN is correct or not, and the name of the person to whom the PAN is allocated, and third, whether the PAN is valid or not. So by validity, we means that the PAN is operational, the Aadhaar and the PAN is both linked. If you find that the PAN and Aadhaar is not linked, you will find that the PAN, it will shade it is invalid or it is not active. So if the PAN is not active, then definitely if you file the return and if you move ahead and file the return, you will get an error message stating that the PAN is inactive and short deduction default will be created for the same. late filing is again the major defaults which is being generated. If you file your return in a delay, you'll have to pay a 200 rupees penalty as 234F fees for your return filing. Now this amount extends up to the amount of challan or the total TDS amount in that particular quarter. So if you have only two challans aggregating to rupees 1000 in your TDS, then the 234F amount won't be exceeding the TDS amount which is being filed in that particular quarter. But in larger cases, if there's delay, then this amount might go into thousands of rupees. And as of now, since the starting of this 234F section for late filing, there has been no, I would say, any relief from the department with respect to this 234F filing. So in case you are going for any lower deduction certification or anything, if there is any demand, you have to pay that amount. And if the amount is not being paid within 30 days of the demand being generated, then you have to pay interest also on the same. So you again, it is always requested that the deadlines will be coming in. So always go and check the complete details of your SSC, that whatever demand is there on the portal, how much challan you have already paid, try to clear all those things. And if there is any non-payment which you are making the payment in the current days, you have to also recompute the interest amount and pay, because you'll find once you file a correction statement by making the challan payment as stated in the portal, you'll find once the correction is filed, the amount again gets generated stating that interest on the latest processing of the return. So this interest is basically the interest which you need to pay post 30 days of the demand creation. So you haven't paid any amount when the demand is being created, and if the days goes beyond 30 days, you again are supposed to pay the interest on the amount. Coming back to the filing stage, the PAN validation was, as I said, कि PAN validation आपको check कर लेना है. So PAN validation, once you have checked the PAN validation, it also gives you the total. There are some proprietary softwares also where if you have deducted at a lower rate, for example, there is always a confusion between 194C percentage 1 and percentage 2, because in case of proprietorship concerns, you are unable to find out whether the person is individual or the person is in a company mode or is in a HUF or a trust or any other corporate body. So we know the structure of PAN. So always try to identify from the PAN the status of the SSC. For example, if I say that a PAN number is AKNPK, so AKNPK, the fourth letter is P. So the fourth letter always signifies the status of the SSC. So if it is P, then it's an individual. If it is C, then it is a company or a corporate. If it is a T, then it is a trust. If it is H, then it is an HUF. And it is F, right, it's a firm. So from that also you can locate whether the deduction you are making is correct or not, whether 1% is required or 2% is required. So based on that, you can always ask your juniors also when they are feeding the information in the system, try to capture this information and advise the client that whether they have deducted at short rate or they have deducted at the correct rate. Some proprietary softwares also give you information that the rate of interest, the TDS rate is, let's suppose 2%, and you have deducted at a rate of 1%. So default might come in. There is also an option of adding lower deduction certificates. If you are making a deduction at a lower rate than what is prescribed rate, so you also need to properly provide the certificates. If you choose the certificate but don't provide the numbers, then also a default will be coming in. So those things needs to be checked and avoided. You'll also find that there's always confusion between if you're making a total deduction in a month for a single party for 15 transactions. So there is always confusion which says that whether we should report a single line item on a monthly basis, that we have paid certain amount to X and deducted certain amount. But if there are 15 transactions in a month, it is always advisable to report the 15 transactions date wise, because in TDS return, the date of deduction and the date of credit both are being asked. So you are supposed to give the exact dates booked in your system and the exact date of deduction of tax. In 99% cases, the date of deduction and the date of credit in the books of accounts are same. In one of my cases, my junior made a mistake wherein the date of deduction was shown in a particular month, and since the payment was made in the next month, the date of deduction of TDS was shown for the next month. So for all those entries which was made in such fashion, wherein the deduction was for, let's suppose, 10th of August, and if it is in the same month also, for example, it's 10th of August, for which you have made the credit in your books of accounts, and you have shown that you have deducted in the next date, let's suppose 11th of August or 12th of August, then also the system computes interest on that 2 days or 3 days time frame. So in TDS, we find that there is a section which says that interest for a month or part of a month. So if there is a gap of 1 day, 2 day or 3 day also, it will compute the whole 1 month interest. So if you have credited in your books on a particular date, the same date should be used for the date of deduction of tax also. We generally don't find that why the interest is coming in, because it's the same month in which the TDS has been booked and the TDS has been deducted. But the date also matters, friends. If you're mentioning 10th August, the deduction date should also be 10th of August and not 11th or 12th or 13th. If you're making any pre-deduction date, suppose your booking date is 10th of August and you are mentioning 1st August or 2nd August as deduction date, the system will clarify you that this cannot happen if you are booking a particular date as a amount paid or credited. Your deduction date cannot foresee that particular date. Second, you also have to see the quarter-wise details. If you are making a deduction in the month of April, May, or June, so that particular line item of deductive will have to go in the first quarter. It cannot come into the second quarter. It will always give you the error message while creating the view file that the particular transaction does not set into the second quarter. It has to be for the first quarter. Coming back to the portal, what are the changes or the rectifications which you can file? As mentioned, the income classification, TDS amount and date, certain certificate particulars, and challan mapping errors. There are also cases where instead of mapping of a challan for a particular deduction, you have tagged some other challan, and for both the challans, you are finding error over there when the return is processed. The overall total amount will always match. You have deducted 100 rupees. You have paid 100 rupees. But if there are 3 challans and section-wise challans adjustments has not been properly tagged, then also you might get an error. So all this error can be rectified online if you have your TDS and TCS registered. You can straightforward go for the challan corrections. Now, another interesting thing is, if you're having a lot of challans in your portal showing unconsumed and you don't have the database readily available. So in that scenario, what we do, we go for correction statement for any particular financial year. Let's suppose for 23-24. So 23-24, any one quarter you can choose or request for a rectification. And once you go to that quarter 23-24 and you go to the correction statement of add challan to your statement, it will first show you the unconsumed challans for financial 23-24 which needs to add, if there is any available with the portal. And in the second tab, it will give you an option to add challan for the next financial year and also challan for the previous financial year. So from there, you will be able to find out all the challans which are having the unconsumed portion available with the particular challan, and you can also get the amount of the challan. So let's suppose the amount is of 15,000 rupees and 2,000 rupees is unconsumed, and you don't have the initial data with you. So once you go to that correction mechanism and you go to the previous financial year, so from that you can always track the financial year of the challan. You can also track the total challan amount, and you can also track the outstanding amount of that challan. So in case if you don't have the database available, the books of accounts available, readily available from the portal itself, you can get the unconsumed challan amounts, prepare a list, and from that list, you can always correct your TDS correction statements. So as discussed, the critical timeline for FY 18-19 quarter 4, you won't be able to rectify this returns post 31st March 26. For 19-20 to 22-23, all the 4 quarters, the last date is 31st March 26. For 23-24 also, quarter 1 to quarter 3, the deadline will be 31st March 26. For quarter 4, March 24, you will be able to file post 1st March 26. All those returns will get time barred as per the new act. So you won't be able to file any rectification. And if there is any demand or challan, unconsumed challan pending, then you have to approach your local TDS officer, give a statement that these are the total demands which is there, and these are total challans which are unconsumed. So from the back end, they will be able to might be able to resolve. As of now, but I had a discussion. They are even not sure whether the traces portal will be allowing any rectification from their side or not. But from the SSC point of view, it's advisable that you get yourself rectified, rectify all the mistakes which are there in the TDS returns, and get the demands nullified before the time limit gets expired, so that you don't have to rush to your local authorities or local officers and then get into trouble for rectifying or getting these demands nullified. Digital signature application is important to get all the corrections done in the online portal through online mechanism. It will save a lot of your time by not downloading the view files again and again and making the correction with softwares. You can make the corrections online. Always note that whenever you are filing any correction online, the acknowledgement which gets generated is generated on the screen. Always take a screenshot and save this, because if you don't save this screenshot, whenever you go to the return and try to find out the rectification acknowledgement number, you won't be getting the complete acknowledgement number over there. It comes at XXX and the last 4 or 5 digits also only displayed. So if you want to make any further correction through your XML or the FVU files, you need that last rectified acknowledgement number with you. So if you don't have it, then the further corrections becomes bit trouble if you're doing any offline correction. If you're doing an online correction, you won't be requiring that acknowledgement number. But if you don't have any DSC, or if you want to verify your returns, then it will be a troublesome job, because the last rectified returns will be required to process offline that particular quarter returns. Further, TDS certificate generation also becomes easier with the digital signature. And also note that issuing of TDS certificates are also important. It also carries a penal provision. If the TDS certificates are not being issued, by issue I would say that if a deductee does not generate TDS certificates from the portal is of the view that the certificate has not been generated and not been issued, because no physical certificate can be given other than the certificate generated through Traces portal. So always generate the TDS certificates from the portal. At least download the files. If it is not being issued to the deductees, that's up to the SSC and the chartered accountant. But the portal should be updated that the TDS certificates has been downloaded. Otherwise, department can start issuing penalty for non-issuance of TDS certificates also. It's there in the act. And it's also the same pattern, 200 rupees per day for delay in issuing of TDS certificates. So always generate TDS certificates also on time. So how you would like to go for your corrections? Log into your TDS traces portal. Go to the dashboard, find out the unconsumed challans, and also take a list of the total demands under which sections you have, whether it is under short deduction, whether it is late filing, whether it is interest, whether it is any error of PAN. So there are 8 to 9 columns where the defaults are being allocated. Identify the reason and source for the same. Get your digital signature certificates, get other informations from the SSC, if possible, whatever informations you can gather from the portal, and then try to apply for the particular quarter rectification. You can make 3 to 4 corrections also together. Suppose if you want to make a challan correction, you want to make a PAN correction of different SSCs, you want to also pay your late fees by adding a challan. So all these 3-4 corrections can be done together. In one of my case, the challan was fully consumed, and the amount was supposed to be allocated to instead of Mr. X to Mr. Y. So what you need to do is you have to reduce the amount of Mr. X and then allocate it to Mr. Y. See, online mechanism, what happens until and unless that particular challan has the amount available with you, you won't be able to tag Mr. Y to it. So you are making an amendment, you are reducing the amount allocated to Mr. X. This challan does not get the required balance amount to be allocated to Y. So in that case, you have to file 2 returns. You have to wait for 2 days, get the first return processed. Mr. X amount gets reduced and the challan gets the balance available with the amount which you have reduced, and that amount then again can be allocated to Mr. Y by filing a second correction statement. Again, this will reduce the in this case, you can always download the view file and then make the correction together and upload it again through your income tax portal or through your local e-filing centers. But I prefer the online mechanism. So in this scenarios also, I try to file 2 rectification returns instead of 1. But things gets in my control, and the processing also gets into a faster mode. So department circular interpretation, same. The timeline is getting exhausted, so you have to follow the same. There are also scenarios where you have mentioned the amount paid or credited something different what is there in the books of accounts. For example, in case you have mentioned the amount paid or credited at a higher level, then there will be a short deduction amount. But if you have mentioned the amount at a lower rate, suppose in case of interest payment, you have deducted 10,000 rupees on 1 lakh rupees. While filing your TDS return, you have mentioned 10,000 rupees as amount paid or credited and 10,000 rupees as amount deducted also. So that becomes 100% of the amount which you have paid as tax deduction. The system won't stop you in this scenario. In the case of TDS return, it will get accepted. There won't be any default also, but your deductee will be not getting the proper reconciliation being done at his stage. Further, if this amount is being rechecked by your tax auditor or by anybody recomputing your TDS deductions, amount paid or credited with your books of accounts, he will find a shortfall. This same information also goes to the income tax department also, wherein in the income tax return you have mentioned 1 lakh rupees as interest paid, and in your TDS return you have mentioned only 10,000 rupees. So it's not that the TDS amount is mentioned correct. अगर TDS amount सही mention हो गया लेकिन amount paid or credited सही mention नहीं है तो आपको उसको correct नहीं करना है. You have to ensure that the amount paid or credited and the TDS amount both are in correct form. उसमें कोई भी राउंडिंग ऑफ या वैसा ना करें, बिकॉज करेंटली ऑल द amount paid or credited is cross tallied with 26AS, the AIS reports, and the income tax return which is being filed is cross verified or cross tallied with the amount paid or credited reflected by the deductor. So always try to find कि ये पार्ट भी अपने क्लियरली कर पाएं. टाइमलाइन मॉनिटरिंग, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन प्रोटोकॉल, और आपको रिव्यू प्रोसेस फॉलो करना है. डेडलाइन एक्सपायर हो उसके पहले अपडेट योर क्लाइंट एंड एसएससी कि भैया इंफॉर्मेशन आपके पोर्टल पे हमको चाहिए रेक्टिफिकेशन फाइल करने के लिए. आपने कोई चालान जमा किया है, नहीं किया है, कोई थर्ड पार्टी चालान जमा कर दिया है, उसकी इंफॉर्मेशन ट्रैक नहीं हो पा रही है, और किसी कारण से आप जो मैंने मैकेनिज्म बताया आपको कि कोई पर्टिकुलर फाइनेंशियल ईयर में जा करके भी आप बैकएंड का ट्राई करके निकाल सकते हो. अगर वो भी फेल हो रहा है, इफ द सपोज चालान इज देयर फॉर FY 7 8 8 9 9 10 13 14 14 15, जिसका अभी के डेट में आपको रेक्टिफिकेशन फाइल करने देगा ही नहीं, तो आप उसकी चालान अमाउंट फाइंड आउट नहीं कर पाएंगे. तो इन ऑल दो सिनारियोज ट्राई टू गेट द इंफॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम द एसएससी. सो इमीडिएट एक्शन, सिस्टम एनहांसमेंट एंड प्रोफेशनल कंसल्टेंसी तो हम लोग हैं ही टू रेक्टिफाई, एंड इट्स अ बेसिकली एडिशनल जॉब ऑल्सो यू कैन सी. और फीस हम लोग को डेफिनेटली चार्ज करनी चाहिए ये सब रेक्टिफिकेशंस फाइल करने के लिए. डिपार्टमेंट अभी स्क्रूटनी नोटिस भी भेज रहा है इन केस ऑफ नॉन कंप्लायंसेस, जिसके भी डिमांड्स ज़्यादा हैं, शॉर्ट डिडक्शंस ज़्यादा हैं, वो लोग रिकवरी प्रोसीजर भी इनिशिएट कर रहे हैं. सो इट माइट बी पॉसिबल कि आपके एड्रेसेस चेंज हो गए हैं और नोटिस दूसरे जगह पे जा रहे हैं, आपके नोटिस में नहीं आ रहा है. सो जिसके भी TDS की लाइबिलिटी है या डिडक्शन लाइबिलिटी है, ऑलवेज लॉग इन टू द पोर्टल एंड चेक द वेयर अबाउट्स कि डिमांड है कि नहीं है, और है तो उसको कैसे नलीफाई और रेक्टिफाई करना है. मैं कुछ प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल्स एक बार आप लोगों को दिखा देना चाहूँगा जस्ट फॉर ये. आपका सर्कुलर है जो डिपार्टमेंट के पोर्टल पे ट्रेसेस पे अवेलेबल है. ये आप लोग को दिख रहा है क्या चिप्पू जी?
हाँ दिख रहा है ना.
हाँ.
थैंक यू हेलो.
हाँ, ये 536 इनकम टैक्स एक्ट के हिसाब से 1/4/26 से एप्लीकेबल हो जाएगा. ये नोटिफिकेशन जैसे ही आप ट्रेसेस वेबसाइट पे जाएंगे ये आपको मिलेगा. ये जस्ट एक ट्रेसेस के वेबसाइट को आपको दिखा देता हूँ. जैसे ही आप TDS CPC डालेंगे, ट्रेसेस पोर्टल पे आएंगे, ये फर्स्ट आपको होम पेज पे जाएंगे. इट विल गिव यू अ कॉशन कि क्या आपको करना है क्या नहीं करना. इसको कंटिन्यू करेंगे, इट विल गिव यू दिस मैसेज ऑफ 234 397 3F, और यहाँ पे आप वो नोटिफिकेशन जो मैंने आपको दिखाया आप डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं. कंटिन्यू. यहाँ पर भी आपको सेम नोटिफिकेशन डाल के रखा है इन्होंने कि आप इसको नोट करें और इसको अवॉइड ना करें, और जितना भी डिफॉल्ट है उसको रेक्टिफाई करें. I'll just log in to one of the users. ये लॉगिन टैब है, डिडक्टर है. जस्ट अ सेकेंड.
नवीन जी आवाज नहीं आ रही आपकी.
हाँ नहीं, मैं उसको लॉगिन कर रहा हूँ.
अच्छा.
जस्ट गिव मी 1 सेकेंड, मैं क्रेडेंशियल्स एक बार डाल देता हूँ। तो आपको पोर्टल का पूरा एक एक्सेस मिल जाएगा कि क्या पोर्टल पे कहाँ क्या दिखेगा, कैसे दिखेगा और कैसे आपको डील करना है। तो दिस इज द नॉर्मल डैशबोर्ड जो आपको दिखेगा लॉगिन करने के बाद में। अगेन यू हैव टू क्लिक ऑन द डैशबोर्ड। तो ये आपका फाइलिंग स्टेटस आपको बताता है एंड आपकी क्या रिक्वायरमेंट्स है, क्या मैसेजेस आपके पास में आए हुए हैं डिपार्टमेंट से, ये सब आप यहाँ देख पाएंगे। कितने आपकी इंटीमेशंस आई हुई हैं, डिमांड जनरेटेड है किस किस ईयर का। गोइंग टू डैशबोर्ड, यहाँ पे आपके पास में ऑप्शन है व्यू डिटेल्स ऑफ अनकंज्यूम चलान। वंस यू क्लिक ऑन दिस, ये आपको सारे चलान की लिस्ट दे देगा। बट यहाँ पे आपको अमाउंट डालना पड़ेगा चलान का पर्टिकुलर, देन ओनली यू विल बी एबल टू वेरीफाई कि उसका चलान अमाउंट कितना है एंड अनकंज्यूम चलान अमाउंट कितना है। एंड एज आई सेड कि इसमें करंट का कुछ होगा। स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रहा है मेरा,
नहीं, आपका स्क्रीन नहीं आ रहा है।
जस्ट अ सेकेंड। हाँ देखिएगा, अभी दिख रहा है।
हाँ।
सो दिस इज द डैशबोर्ड। ये ट्रेसेस पोर्टल का डैशबोर्ड है। यहाँ आपको टोटल जो मैसेजेस डिपार्टमेंट के साइड से आती हैं वो आपको यहाँ शो करता है इनबॉक्स के अंदर में। आपको अगर कोई ऑफिसर से कुछ भी बात करनी है, कुछ करनी है, आप इसके अगेंस्ट में रिप्लाई भी कर सकते हैं। ये आपका टोटल सेक्शन है वेर यू फाइंड द डिटेल्स ऑफ अनकंज्यूम चलान्स। जब यहाँ क्लिक करेंगे तो डिपार्टमेंट पर जितनी भी चलान है, अब यहाँ देखेंगे आप 2017 का चलान भी मेरे पास में है, 2022 का भी है, 2014 का भी है। तो अब 2014 का कोई चलान है तो वो आज की डेट में मेरे को अगर इसका डिटेल्स नहीं पता तो मैं जो करेक्शन मैकेनिज्म बताया मैं वहाँ से आपको आइडेंटिफाई करके नहीं बता पाऊंगा। तो अगेन यू हैव टू गो टू द बुक्स एंड फाइंड आउट कि ये चलान अमाउंट कितना रुपए का है। एंड उस चलान, अब प्रॉब्लम ये होती है कि अगर आप 19 सितंबर 2014 में जमा किए हैं तो ये जो जमा है ये जमा आपका 7-8 के लिए भी हो सकता है, 8-9 के लिए भी हो सकता है, 9-10 के लिए भी हो सकता है। इट कैन बी ऑफ एनी फाइनेंशियल ईयर प्रायर टू 2014। तो 21 फाइनेंशियल ईयर का चलान है, ये आपको यहाँ से लोकेट नहीं होता। तो अगेन आइडेंटिफाइंग द ईयर ऑल्सो इज इम्पॉर्टेंट बिकॉज जो मैंने बताया कि आप पर्टिकुलर कोई ईयर में अगर करेक्शन करना चाह रहे हैं तो उसके 1 ईयर प्रायर और 1 ईयर बैक में ही आप करेक्शन कर पाएंगे। एंड इन केस आपका सारा करेक्शन हो जाता है तो ऑल द चलान्स इन विच द अमाउंट इज मोर देन 100 विच इज अनकंज्यूम्ड एंड ऑल योर डिमांड्स आर नील एंड नलिफाइड, you can apply it to your officer for getting the refunds of all those challans. यहाँ पे एक ऑप्शन है वेर यू कैन फाइंड द रिक्वेस्ट फॉर रिफंड। ये जब आप डालेंगे तो इसकी दो क्राइटेरियाज होती हैं कि आपकी कोई डिमांड खड़ी नहीं होनी चाहिए एंड द चलान विच यू आर रिक्वेस्टिंग शुड हैव एन अमाउंट ऑफ मोर देन 100 रुपीज एज अनकंज्यूम्ड। तो वो सारे चलान्स की को आप रिक्वेस्ट डाल करके रिफंड क्लेम कर सकते हैं। तो दिस इज द डैशबोर्ड वेयर यू कैन फाइंड ऑल योर चलान्स। अगेन डिमांड क्या है वो आपको यहाँ से मिल जाएगा, आउटस्टैंडिंग डिमांड्स। इस पे जब क्लिक करेंगे तो आपको पूरे ईयर के हिसाब से डिमांड दिखा देगा किस किस ईयर में आपके कितने कितने डिमांड्स हैं। नाउ वंस यू गो टू अ पर्टिकुलर डिमांड, लेट्स सपोज मैं 22-23 में घुसता हूँ, तो उसमें आपको किस किस ईयर में किस किस फॉर्म के अंदर में डिमांड है वो सारे भी शो करेंगे। अब आपको देखना है कि ये 11,490 या लेट्स सपोज 9,200 रुपीज 26 क्यू का मेरा क्या चीज़ का डिमांड है। तो वंस यू मूव टू Q3, ये आपको टोटल दिखाएगा कि रेगुलर स्टेटमेंट है, ये टोकन नंबर है जो मैंने आपको बताया था, टोकन नंबर जो आता है वो XXX करके आता है। तो अगर आपके पास, अगर आप ऑफलाइन कोई रेक्टिफिकेशन फाइल करना चाह रहे हैं तो आपके पास इसके टोकन नंबर का पूरा इन्फॉर्मेशन होना चाहिए, अदरवाइज वो फाइल वैलिडेट नहीं होगी आपकी। अब यहाँ पे आपको ये टोटल डिफॉल्ट्स की लिस्ट बताता है कि शॉर्ट पेमेंट कितना है, शॉर्ट डिडक्शन कितना है, इंटरेस्ट कितना है, डिटेल्स कितना है। अब क्योंकि मैं इसको इस मैकेनिज्म से देख रहा हूँ, वंस यू गो विद द रेक्टिफिकेशन मैकेनिज्म, तो यहाँ पे जो भी शॉर्ट पेमेंट होगा यहाँ एक हाइपरलिंक आ जाता है। तो जैसे आप हाइपरलिंक पे क्लिक करेंगे तो वो आपको वहीं पर बता देगा कि आपका शॉर्ट पेमेंट किस किस पार्टी के रिगार्ड्स में है, विच आर द पार्टीज और डिडक्टीज विच आर एज अ एक्टिंग एज अ डिफॉल्ट। आप यहीं से जाकर एक इसका रिक्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं। अब मेरे केस में ये है लेट फाइलिंग लेवी 8,400 रुपीज और इंटरेस्ट ऑन लेट पेमेंट 796.5। आप जो भी रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे वो यहाँ से भी रिक्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं फॉर करेक्शन, या फिर आप यहाँ से भी करेक्शन डाल सकते हैं, रिक्वेस्ट फॉर करेक्शन। जो भी रिक्वेस्ट आपने डाला है उसको आपको ट्रैक करना है, आप यहाँ से ट्रैक कर सकते हैं, ट्रैक करेक्शन रिक्वेस्ट। जब इसको क्लिक करेंगे एंड यू मूव टू व्यू ऑल, तो जितने भी आपके करेक्शन स्टेटमेंट्स आपने लिए हैं, उसको रिजेक्ट किया है या सबमिट किया है या प्रोसेस हुआ है, वो स्टेटस को यहाँ बता देगा आपको। इफ इट इज इन प्रोग्रेस, मतलब आपने उसको रिक्वेस्ट किया हुआ है, आप उस पर काम कर रहे हैं, बट उसको आपने फाइनल सबमिशन नहीं किया है अभी। अब जैसे आप इसको क्लिक करेंगे इट विल आस्क फॉर योर डिजिटल सिग्नेचर। अगर आप डिजिटल सिग्नेचर नहीं देते हैं उसको, तो आपका जो टोटल करेक्शंस जितनी आपकी अलाउबिलिटी होगी वो कम हो जाएगी। अगर आप डीएससी के थ्रू से वैलिडेट कर देंगे तो यू कैन डू ऑल द करेक्शंस ओवर हियर। किसी का कोई सवाल हो तो वो पूछ सकता है। इसके अंदर में
यस।
जो डिफॉल्ट सॉफ्टवेयर आपके पास में होने चाहिए वो है ट्रेसेस का। अगर आप देख पा रहे हैं स्क्रीन पे, आई जस्ट शो यू। जैसे एक ये ट्रेसेस है एम साइनर, ये कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स का है। अगर ये चल रहा होगा तो इसको स्टॉप कर दीजिए। एक एम साइनर और है इसका डिफॉल्ट, एम साइनर ट्रेसेस। ये एम साइनर ट्रेसेस का है, इसको डबल क्लिक करेंगे, ये रन हुआ। अभी ये पोर्ट पे रन होता है, जस्ट फॉर द यूजर्स इंफॉर्मेशन जो भी जीएसटी फाइल कर रहे हैं। ये एम साइनर आ गया यहाँ पे। ये सर्वर कॉन्फ़िगर्ड है मेरा 1565। नॉर्मली ये पोर्ट जो होता है, ये पोर्ट आपको एक्सेस देता है डिजिटल सिग्नेचर का। बहुत लोगों के पास कंप्लेन होती है कि हम ऑनलाइन रेक्टिफिकेशन फाइल नहीं कर पाते बिकॉज हमारा डीएससी पिक ही नहीं करता है। तो उस सब केसेस के लिए आप एम साइनर प्रॉपर्ली डाउनलोड कीजिए, जो ट्रेसेस का है वर्जन 2.0, उसको सिस्टम पे रन कीजिए। उसके बाद में अगर आपका एक्सेस नहीं लेता है, जस्ट गो टू योर पोर्टल, टाइप https://127.0.0.1 एंड योर पोर्ट नंबर 1565। ये आप डाल के डीएससी लगा हुआ रहना चाहिए आपका। आप एंटर करेंगे, आपको यहाँ ऑप्शन देगा गो टू एडवांस्ड और प्रोसीड। इससे आप बेसिकली उस गेटवे जो है 1565 उसको आप एक्सेस दे दे रहे हैं टू फेच योर डिजिटल सिग्नेचर। तो ये एक्सेस भी आप उनको दे दीजिए। देने के बाद में यू ट्राई, आप देखेंगे वो एरर आपको शो नहीं करेगा एंड यू विल बी एबल टू मूव अहेड। फिर करेक्शंस जो भी आपको करना है वो करेक्शंस आप करिए। उसके बाद आपके पास एक प्रीव्यू का ऑप्शन आएगा। इट विल आस्क यू फॉर द प्रीव्यू कि आपने जो भी करेक्शंस आपने फाइल किए हैं आप उसको देख सकते हैं। वंस यू वैलिडेट एवरीथिंग देन यू कैन सबमिट बाय गिविंग योर डिजिटल सिग्नेचर, और एक्नॉलेजमेंट आपके पेज पे आएगा, उसको आप सेव कर लीजिए। एंड आफ्टर 2 days, आई थिंक 2 days या 1 day के अंदर में करेक्शन नॉर्मली प्रोसेस हो जा रहा है। और जो डिमांड्स है आपके, यू कैन अगेन ट्रैक बैक यहाँ से, तो वो करेक्शंस आपको वहाँ पर कम होते हुए मिल जाएंगे, ये अमाउंट रिड्यूस हो रहा है। तो ये जो अमाउंट आप देख रहे हैं यहाँ पे, टारगेट होना चाहिए कि अमाउंट जीरो हो जाए, अदरवाइज डिपार्टमेंट आर इनिशिएटिंग। अभी ये करेक्शन का स्टेटमेंट्स का टाइम लिमिट खत्म हो जाएगा, तो टू माई नॉलेज एंड टू माई एक्सपीरियंस सबके पास नोटिस पहुंच जाएंगी फॉर रिकवरी ऑफ दिस डिमांड्स, एंड विच माइट बी ऑफ ह्यूज अमाउंट्स जो लोग नोटिस नहीं करते हैं। सो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट वंस अगेन कि इसको इग्नोर ना करें, एजुकेट योर क्लाइंटल्स ऑल्सो, और इस पे काम करके अपना प्रोफेशनल वर्क भी कमाइए और क्लाइंट्स को भी हैरेस फ्री होकर के मूव करने दीजिए। दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम माय साइड। आई होप इट वाज एन एनरिचिंग सेशन फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू। कोई क्वेश्चंस हो तो वी कैन टेक।
इज देयर एनी क्वेश्चन?
चैट बॉक्स में कोई क्वेश्चन आया हुआ है क्या?
नहीं, चैट बॉक्स में नहीं है। वेरी नाइस डेलीब्रेशन नवीन जी। और पोर्टल वाला सो तो प्रॉब्लम हो गया, स्क्रीन शेयरिंग भी हो गया, नो इश्यूज।
Gautam Golcha ji, if you're there, 1 year excess TDS paid can be adjusted with next year TDS liability. Yes sir. आप अगर सपोज फाइनेंशियल ईयर 24-25 में कुछ एक्सेस टीडीएस जमा कर दिए हैं, नेक्स्ट ईयर 25-26 के अंदर में आप उसको एडजस्ट कर सकते हैं. इफ यू आर फाइलिंग अ न्यू रिटर्न, तो उसके अंदर में आपको चालान डिटेल्स आप डालेंगे, तो हो सकता है वो आपको एडजस्ट करने ना दे, आपका डिफॉल्ट क्रिएट होगा फॉर वंस. बाद में जब आप ऑनलाइन करेक्शन फाइल करेंगे तो आपको अलाउ कर देगा. Because 1 year back or 1 year after for a particular financial year you can attach सेक्शन वाइज एडजस्टमेंट भी आप कर सकते हैं. सबसे आपने जमा कर दिया 194C में, आपको एडजस्ट करना है उस अमाउंट को अगेंस्ट 194Q या 194A और 194H, तो वो भी आप कर सकते हैं. और दूसरा ऑप्शन है, अगर आपको ऑफलाइन करेक्शंस फाइल करनी है, यू कैन अप्लाई फॉर चलान करेक्शंस. जो भी आपने चलान पे किया है उसका असेसमेंट ईयर चेंज करना है या उसका सेक्शन कोड चेंज करना है, तो उसके लिए आप ऑनलाइन पोर्टल से भी अप्लाई कर सकते हैं टू योर एओ, तो वो भी अपने एंड से उसको रेक्टिफिकेशन डाल सकते हैं. बट ट्राई टू गो सीमलेस. अगर ऑनलाइन ये कर पाते हैं तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, तुरंत के तुरंत सारा चीज हो जाएगा, just rather than applying to your AO and waiting out time for getting it rectified.
I think Navinji, there is no further any question. So let's close the session as time also.
Yeah, it's also 6 or 7.
And thank you, Navinji, for your nice deliberation and all the aspects of TDS and penalties, prosecutions. There is a how to rectify, how to correct it, and nicely arrange the sequence of every PPTs, which help everyone to understand properly. And thank you, Navinji, and thank you, audience, for nicely participate and patience sharing. Thanks to all.
Yeah, just before closing, there's a question from Praveen Bothra. I would like to just answer him. Sir, while depositing TDS, you have to choose a particular section. Without choosing any section, you cannot deposit your TDS. तो सेक्शन आपको चूज करना ही करना है. अब ये हो सकता है कि आप कोई लेट फीस का पेमेंट कर रहे हैं या कोई इंटरेस्ट का पेमेंट कर रहे हैं. यू कैन चूज एनी सेक्शन 194C या 194A जो डिफॉल्ट आपके रिटर्न्स के अंदर में है, और उसके बेसिस पे अपना इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट या बाकी पेमेंट कर सकते हैं. लेकिन विदाउट चूजिंग एनी पर्टिकुलर सेक्शन आप टीडीएस का चलान जमा नहीं कर सकते. थैंक यू. ऑर्गेनाइजर्स, यू कैन एंड द मीटिंग.
Close the meeting.
Yeah.
Thanks to all.
Yeah, thank you.